Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the show. I'm still having trouble calling it Vimo Live or anything because it's just the show. If you're listening to this on audio at a later point of time, know that the podcast is called Vimo Talks and it's available wherever you listen to audio like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you're here during the live stream, you are on youtube.com/Vimol Live. And today we have a special guest with us. A guest who is here to, actually on popular demand because a lot of you asked for him. And this guest is Meghnad from Newslaundry. He's a journalist. You have all seen his shows. He does ground reports as well as analytical pieces for newslaundry.com, the YouTube channel, and writes for Newslaundry. His specialty is parliamentary affairs. I would suppose if I had to put him in a folder, I would say it's parliamentary affairs. A lot of you are already here. I would just remind you that last week the YouTube channel got monetized and now there is a join button under there. So if you want to, you can click it and become a member of this channel. I will just start by pointing out that Purvesh Yas is the latest member and he became a member a couple of days ago. Hi Purvesh, and thank you for becoming a member. Now, without much further ado, I will bring Meghnad on screen. Hi Meghnad.
Hello, hi, how are you doing?
Good, good. I hope you're doing well. Had a good day.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you are here because the audience wanted you here.
I can
Most,
already see chat. Yes, I can
yeah.
see.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
looking at chat,
Yeah,
right?
I'm looking at chat. I always look at chat.
Okay. No, so this must not be a new feeling for you because you have done live streams for News
Yeah,
Laundry
yeah,
and by yourself also, I suppose,
yeah. And I've
because we
learned
were.
it the hard way that if you don't talk to chat, everybody loses interest. So, hello, chat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chat is aware of how things happen. They will wait.
Yes.
There are about 25 people here right now, but it'll increase.
Yeah.
So before we proceed, do you want to give us a brief? Like we know you as a face on our YouTube screens, talking about the day's news and parliamentary affairs. But do you have a larger background that you can share with us?
I want to ask you a question first.
Huh,
You put
sure,
in a
sure.
thumbnail as an online newsman. That's the title you chose. I want to know why.
You are a newsman. A newsman is someone who, it's a loose-ish term for that
Hmm.
was used for television journalists, right? A
Yeah,
newsman, right?
yeah.
And you are online. You are not a television newsman, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I mean that is
No, no,
like
absolutely.
to me, the YouTube newsman is the more elevated version of the journalist. So that's
Yeah.
why we can always
Oh,
change the thumbnail, of course.
yeah. No, 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 absolutely. I guess that's what I am. Especially since I started the show Sansad Watch. Now
Yeah.
I'm actively watching Parliament and sort of reporting on it, right?
Okay.
So
In
I
fact, in
would
fact, in fact,
say
I'll break the
yes.
rule and show you a comment from someone who said, "I thought I was on News Laundry ka channel and for an instant wondered what Sansad Watch episode I had missed." Because the photo of you that I chose for the YouTube thumbnail looks like you're about to present Sansad Watch. You're sitting
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is Vimo's channel, guys. Become a member.
Yes, become a member. So I remember meeting you in Bhubaneswar a number
Yes.
of years ago. I was there to give a TEDx talk, and someone you were working with was also giving a TEDx talk, and that's where we
Yes.
met first. But
Yes,
so
so I was working with Tathagat Satpathy back then. He was a MP from Odisha,
okay,
BJD, and we met because he was also giving a TED talk
yes,
there. And I
uh,
remember we had prepared so intensely for it. Like me, my colleague, and him, and we sat for like 3 days and rehearsed the talk and everything and made like random presentations. So I remember that.
yeah. I remember preparing for my TED talk as much as I could because I get distracted very easily. And when I had a theme in mind. When I landed
Yeah.
and I was on the way to the venue, somebody said, "So we are going to hear a story," and I was like, "Damn it! I should have prepared a story instead of this presentation." So that night I sat down and made it into a story format thing. I basically
Oh,
rewrote my entire thing one night before. So your background again, I'll ask
yeah.
if you can give us a brief overview
Oh,
of
okay. So I'll
where
give you
where
like a very
Meghnad came from and how he got to where he
yeah.
is right now.
You're doing an Amit Verma on me. I get it. So, so like so it came. come from Nagpur, right? So I had a very normal sort of middle class yet privileged, upbringing, and I have studied commerce, bachelor's in commerce, and I was doing CA,
Hmm.
and I sucked at it basically. So I gave. There are three exams, right? So I cleared the first exam, and I was doing
I have no idea.
articleship.
I have
Huh.
no idea how
So
many
the
exams there are.
it's the most bizarre profession in the universe. Okay.
No, I said because you said there are three exams, right? And I nodded as if I knew what I was
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about. I have
I
no
knew
idea.
it. Okay, so there are three exams, Vibhov, right? Three, right?
Okay.
So when you clear the first one, so the bizarre thing about CA is that when you clear the first one, you have to do like a mandated articleship. So for 3.5 years, you have to work with CAs, like an office, and you get paid nothing for it. So essentially, you have like a 10 to 6 job for 3.5 years, which you get paid nothing for. So that's basically CA. So I did the entire thing, the articleship part of it, but in the exams I sucked. So
Okay.
I cleared the second exam barely, but then by that time I had lost interest and I started working as a freelance journalist with Times of India. Then from there I went to do this fellowship called LAMP, which is Legislative Assistance to Members of Parliament. That's when I came to Delhi, for 7 years since then I have been working with members of Parliament. And then after that, I started writing and obviously tweeting, and then things
Hmm.
got a little popular. And my boss gave me a choice: either you stick to my office and its line, or you continue writing and expressing yourself. So I chose the latter part. Then I went freelance, and now I'm in Newslaundry. So that's my journey, Sankshipt mein.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that was okay. Okay. So you have like we know we follow each other on Twitter, and I
yeah,
sometimes write about how there is a bias against those who did not choose the science stream in the
yeah,
Indian education thing. And you have told me sometimes that you relate with that very much, even though you're not an art student. Like I
yeah.
remember I wrote a thread about how sad and bad it is for art students, and you were like, I don't know why I'm getting emotional about it. I'm not even an art student.
I know. I keep fishing that thread every once in a while and retweeting it, just because
Yeah.
I think about it sometimes, that whenever I meet like an engineering person and etc., and I get the vibes, I'm like, I remember that.
Yeah, the message I mostly get in response to that thread is, "Why do you hate engineers so much?" And I'm like, I don't. Like I do the whole. Some of my best friends are engineers, so that's like a sort of Twitter-based educational stream, religious difference kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But when you mentioned your childhood, right? You mentioned that you grew up in relative privilege. Do you have experiences to share about how, like, was commerce your natural choice or were you put into it?
No, it wasn't. My dad is a CA. He wanted
Okay.
me to be a CA as well,
Okay.
as things go.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
an office, a practice running. So nepotism karna tha thoda sa.
Acha.
So
Acha.
वो था, but the thing is, I just generally realized that I'm not good at it. But after I got in, and after wasting like around 2.5, 3 years on it, um, just not my thing. I
Okay.
wanted to go into science. I wanted to, but I was still very unsure, right? So, and I was not like a topper person ever, right? So I was
Okay.
like a middling sort of average student, like 60 to 70 to 80% के बीच में I
Yeah.
would be
Same
like,
here. Same here.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, 10th में 12th में whatever. So वैसे भी लोगों को पता नहीं था मेरा future क्या होने वाला है. Everybody had given up on me. The reason, it was very funny. So I wanted to go to this science college, but it was like super aspirational because I was
Okay.
80%er, and
Mm-hmm.
the college ka cutoff was like some 85%, science college, right? And right beside that is a commerce college, not beside, but like in the same vicinity there is a commerce
Huh.
college. um, I filled the form for the science college and stood in line, and I got very annoyed. And I just went to the neighboring college and I filled the form for commerce. And then I went back and told my dad that, oh, by the way, I'm taking commerce through science. And he's like, whoa, okay, chalo fir CA karo. So, and my name, I was stunned in the first time in my life, my name came in the merit list of the commerce college. I was like, wait, I think I
Yeah.
have arrived. Like थोड़ा validation मिलेगा आप life में.
Acha, so, since you just mentioned your name, I was reminded of something. Your name is Meghnad, and
Yes.
somebody did point out in the chat that this is a character from the Ramayana, and not
Yes.
even one of the good characters. So how did how did you come to be named Meghnad, who's the son of Ravan?
Yes. So no, my grandfather, for some reason, is a very big fan of Bengali names. He's named all of
Oh,
us
okay,
and cousins Bengali names. But
okay.
I think I was named after Meghnad Chaha, from what I've heard.
Oh, okay, okay,
That my grandfather was a big fan of Meghnad Chaha and really liked the name. That's why he
okay.
basically named me after him. I found it in a rude way that I share a name with a beloved villain. And this is not a Bollywood villain. This is a
Yeah,
villain
yeah.
that
So
is
it's a
there for
villain,
thousands of years in the consciousness of memory and is burnt every year also. So
along with his father.
yes. So the rude awakening was in school when someone is like, "Hey, तेरे को तो जलाएंगे अब on Dasara." So and then that was just like a thing every year. Like someone will
Okay.
come to me, "Hey, तेरे को जला रहे हैं." So yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate, but also
No, I think
interesting.
it's a badass name.
Yeah,
Uh, like, no, seriously, it's a, like you're talking to someone who wrote a comic book about Ravana. So Meghnad is one of my favorite characters
yeah,
because he
absolutely.
struggles and all he does is to, get his father's approval and all that.
Hmm.
So I suppose everyone's life is
Basically,
mythological in
Succession.
some way. Yeah,
Succession. Yeah.
Succession. I haven't seen Succession also.
Oh, okay. So that is Succession, Vimo. That is
Okay,
Succession.
okay.
Yeah.
There's one lives and one learns, I suppose.
Yeah.
So after all of this, you landed up in Newslaundry. How did Newslaundry happen? Like Newslaundry is something weird, isn't it? When you think about the media landscape of India
Mm.
10 years back, or even now,
Yeah.
people had and still have doubts about. Like, I'm someone who's a full time content creator. I make my money from the people who watch my content, read my content, listen to my content. And it's hard to explain to people. So, in the
Yeah.
media sphere, when you go to people and say that, we're not going to have ads, but the people who watch our content are going to pay us, that must be difficult. So how were you convinced to join News Laundry? Were you incredulous when it started? Were you like nahi ye chalega nahi वगैरह वगैरह?
It was so I have been a subscriber of Newslaundry I think since 2014. So
Okay.
it started in 2012, but I've been a subscriber since 2014, and that is again because I like Clothesline. Madhu did this show. Madhu
Yeah,
Trehan
yeah,
did this
yeah.
show called Clothesline of commentary on news, and obviously they kept hammering into your head that the media needs to be kept accountable, and the only way to do it is to be not influenced by anyone and then funding it. So it's like a spark going in your head, and if you speak to any of our long time subscribers who support us from those years, they will
Hmm.
say that they saw this idea and they thought, there is something happening here, there is something worth looking
Something
into."
worth spending money on.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the weird part about News Laundry, and this still happens, is that it's not about just, like, for example, when you're explaining News Laundry right now, you will say, "Oh, it's a subscriber funded media platform," right? And versus there are ad funded media platforms.
Yeah.
But people don't even know that basic thing, right? So because we got news for free for so long, newspapers are cheap, TV is practically free, radio is just there. So nobody even thought that they need to pay for news, right? So the first idea which News Laundry came up with was like, we need to tell people that advertisements is how news functions, and that is the wrong way to go about it.
Hmm.
And the right way to go about it is if it's a public utility and people are funding it. So
Which is what
I
news
thought,
is supposed to be in any case. It's a
yeah,
public
I mean, but
utility. Yeah.
now it's actually working, right? So from 2012 to I think 2018 ish, it was a bit of a struggle, but then people are getting conscious about it now, that guys,
Hmm.
if we pay for news as a public utility, they work better and they answer to us. Essentially, they talk
Yeah.
to us, not like they're just screaming through a TV or a radio or whatever.
Oh, this seems like News Laundry was this insurance guy who was going to people, कभी भी कुछ भी हो सकता है, and people are like, अभी कुछ नहीं होगा, और अभी तो 50 तरह की बीमारियां हो चुकी है, so everyone is running to get insurance. That is, I think, the
Yeah,
appeal of News Laundry right now. People are thinking नहीं insurance ले लेना चाहिए, वो आदमी सही
yeah,
कह रहा था.
that's a
do
good
you
way to put it.
do you do you think this is going to get stronger in the future? Like, like News Laundry, many others have come up, right? After
Yeah.
News Laundry. And this so-called creator economy also, of which I am also a part, this is also blooming. So do you think
Yeah.
this is going to become stronger, or do you think there are going to be like, uh, how do you put it? Traditional media is somehow going to throw a spanner into the works.
I think, I'm a very radical person when it comes to this. Okay, so disclaimer: this is my personal opinion, and do not associate my opinions with the organization. Right? So my extreme opinion is that I'm a out and out cord cutter. Right? I have cut the cord long time ago. I do not watch TV. I do
Hmm.
not indulge in that kind of news or whatever, and I look at solid sources which I can see where the influences, what the biases are, etc., and I can basically make out, like who is influencing what. There are no layers on top of it where you can dig deep and find out ki, oh, this guy funded this guy, then this guy, then this guy, and then the article came out to fund
Hmm.
this particular project or support this project. So there are layers and it takes a while to get there. So usually rely on more local sources, more subscriber funded media, smaller media organizations, independent media organizations, to get my news, right?
Hmm.
But other than that, like, because I'm looking at parliament, I to look at primary source. I just look at the parliament and I know what's happening, and I feel like that is the most important thing that I do, and that's the news that I genuinely actively follow, and I do consider that as news. So uh, it's a difference between sort of trying to see what kind of biases are working in an organization and also for people, and then cutting out the middleman for mass media. So for
Hmm.
example, if you look at advertisement, essentially what are they are just middlemen, right? So when you ask ki, will this grow, I feel
Hmm.
like people also see it now, and also media organizations, broadcast is also seeing it, because it is a very intense struggle to get advertisements for your TV channel, right? There are
Would you say like because I asked this and you're kind of in the process
hmm,
of answering it also, I'll just shove another question in. Do you think this pay to keep media free
news the
thing might happen with respect to television channels also?
I'm not sure, because television is a giant operation, right? So it starts with the licensing fee, which is in crores, but then it goes on to, like, that entire channel that you have to build. It's a big investment, right? Studio chahiye, cameras
Hmm.
chahiye, you need the broadcasting license for alag hai, you need the telecasting ability, you need so many things to get to the screen, right? So from the starting to the screen. And then there is another thing with news channels. Now they're 24/7. They have to put
Yeah.
out content constantly, right?
Yeah.
It's a very expensive operation, right? So even if they go subscription based model, I do not see it working, because the reason why News Laundry continues to function is because it's small, it's flexible, and it can really grow and collapse very quickly based on the subscription, right, that we are getting, right? So
Okay.
like, for example, if we have to cover elections, we will put out a separate call for subscriptions, right? So separate call that, guys, we are planning to do this over the next 2 months, 5 states, we have 9 reporters on the ground, these are the people there, and then we put out appeals, and then people pay for that project. So we get, like our assembly election project, last month it got topped up. We asked
Okay.
for 27 lakh,
Okay.
and then it's like, when the project is over, you go back to your regular, programming.
Hmm.
So it's like
Because
for
while
the
you were on the field, Abhinandan was doing nuisance.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
he couldn't resist. Let's put it that way. For that particular reason.
He was made an offer he could not refuse.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I went into a rambling answer.
That's okay. It made perfect sense because uh, even I don't think that television can actually adapt to this model, because this is more like a ham radio model where everyone sitting at home can start one. But
Hmm.
if you want to like, a whole lot of television as we understand it today is trappings of 60 to 70 to 100 years of media history,
Yeah.
and nobody was prepared for what is happening right now, let alone the micro payment revolution that is enabling something like news
And
laundry.
it's happening super fast, no?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
also a
yeah.
thing. Like, so initially when TV came in, like, so from the 90s, early late 90s is when private channels came in, private news channels came in, right?
Hmm.
After that, there is still a gap of 20 years, if you see, right? Where the internet has come in, and there is a news laundry, there is a news minute, there is a scroll, independent organizations that are text based but also now going into video, right?
Hmm.
So, and that I think would have started around 2016 or 2017 maximum, like the seeds were sown. Now you can see it being effective, which is, so there's a
Yeah.
gap of 20 years. So, but now if you see, like for us, right, for like the digital media industry, you never know what will happen 2 years from now. Like, we might become super irrelevant. I don't know how, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No, I think
streaming
what will happen is
intimidates
that
me, right?
television television is like this gigantic 18-wheeler truck which has been going really fast for 100 years, and it'll be 20 to 30 years before it realizes that the fuel is run out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'll
It's
keep
it's a
going.
very, it's a lumbering machine, if you were to put
Yeah,
it that way,
yeah.
right? So it
So
takes a while when someone is chewing on your tail. It takes a while for the signals to reach the brain of this monster,
yeah, yeah.
and
So I
then
think
they will look
s-
back and then
sometime 20 years from now there will be a moment in television when an anchor says, "Fuck it, why are we doing this? Nobody's watching me. I'm going home. Shut everything down."
there are some very fun statistics which I saw. There was this TRP leak that happened, remember, last year,
Uh-huh.
where Bark, all the
Yeah, 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 yeah.
conversations of
Yeah,
Arnab
with respect to
Goswami,
Republic,
etc., came out.
huh? Hmm.
And along with that, there were a giant amount of documents about TRP ratings that came out. Okay, they're insane, right? So, like, there is some I forget the name of the business channel, but there is this News 18 group ka business channel, who for a duration of 6 hours had two people watching it, right? And that is that too for 15 minutes, and then nobody, and then 15 minutes again, and then nobody. So, I mean, that's also a sample size. But if you think about it, for that business channel, for those 6 hours, if, for example, say, if you extrapolate that one person into like a population that watches TV news, I was just estimating how many people, it would not be more than 1,000 people,
Hmm.
right? And if you look at YouTube right now, if you look at, say, a Tanmay Bhatt's live stream, right, 80,000 people are watching him for that duration of, say, 1 or 2 hours where he's playing a
Yeah,
game or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
right? Or more, right?
Yeah.
Fortnite players, they have like millions of viewers watching them, Ninja and all these people. PewDiePie, right? So, like, again, intense amount of viewership, and the amount of time they spend to bring this viewership versus the cost they are making is disproportionately in favor of this sort of a medium, right? Whereas in TV, it would be so expensive to please those 1,000 people. So then that is where advertisers come in, right? So that is why they need advertisers, because it's a very expensive operation to run with very less returns, and
Okay.
also it's not guaranteed returns.
Right. So I was hoping to jump away from this topic, but you just sowed another seed in my mind, and now I can't
Yeah,
help it, which
yeah,
is that there is something called disposable content, which is
right.
content of the variety where nothing seems to matter really. People are watching because something interesting is happening, and they don't really care much. It's like playing in the background.
Yeah.
So when someone is playing a video game for 7 hours, 8 hours, and I ask
Mm.
because you also play video games, I don't know how long you play, but a video game
So
live
much.
stream, yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes.
I'm sure you have all the time in the world. Not like you have a job or
My
anything.
weekends are basically video game days. My
Okay,
weekends are
okay.
just, I just get up, I shut everything out until I have like an event or whatever to attend. But I'm just like, weekends is my gaming day. I play all day,
We'll we'll
two
talk about your
days.
favorite. We'll talk about your favorite games in a minute. But I just wanted to ask, like, when someone is live streaming for
Hmm.
8 hours and their chat is full and there are 80,000 people watching, uh, That's one kind of content. Then there is the
Hmm.
kind of content where a well-known, towering news personality is talking communal garbage on television, and people are
Hmm.
watching them also. And then there is a third kind of content which I really miss, maybe because I grew up in the
Hmm.
90s, and that is sober discussions with no flim flam, no snazzy graphics, people sitting in
Rajya
the
Sabha TV,
backdrop.
basically.
Sorry.
Rajya Sabha TV.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
had value. I think it had
yeah.
value. I think it has value. Do you think in the conflict between the towering news personality spewing garbage and the live streamer who is not really producing any content that people will want to watch after the live stream is over,
Hmm.
we are
Hmm.
losing out on the Rajya Sabha TV level of in-depth, high quality, somewhat boring content?
Not somewhat, it's extremely boring. Like, I mean, why are you like doing this? Look, there is a choice, right? I can go watch like this fantasy freaking fiction series Witcher or something for 8 hours, which is
Hmm.
amazing, it blows my mind. Or I can watch Rajya Sabha TV. So I mean, when you have that competition, right? I'm not talking about just news, right? So like, for example, I turn on the TV, would I rather go and watch like a, I don't know, like a Marvel movie that is happening, or would I watch Rajya Sabha TV?
Hold
And
on,
I'm
hold
a
on.
person that,
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. Which one do you think you need more, the Marvel movie or the Rajya Sabha TV?
hmm, I feel like there is no real comparison because okay, so I think that's an interesting question because
I'm saying there is a
I
difference
won't
between what
outright
people
say
want to
Rajya Sabha
watch.
TV. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Rajya Sabha TV is a placeholder there. Nobody from
Hmm.
Rajya Sabha TV mind, please, if they're
Hmm.
watching. But there is a difference between what people want, which is exciting, jumpy, colorful,
Hmm.
वगैरह, and what people need, which is useful information presented in an objective manner.
Useful information presented in an objective manner is what I was coming to. Rajya Sabha TV is boring, right? When you
Okay.
watch it as a person who is overly stimulated by other mediums, when you watch it, it becomes even more boring. You have to understand attention spans. You have to understand that attention spans are shrinking, and people genuinely want to look at infotainment, that term that came out, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which is like when I'm making my videos, like, so last week, sorry, my dog is barking a
yeah. Somebody is watching Godi Media. That's okay.
lot. No, my dog has a Zoom call every night, so with other dogs, so that's what's happening right now.
They appear to be disagreeing about something.
Yeah. But I was coming to essentially what I do. For example, Sunset Watch, right? Last week I did an episode on Rajya Sabha TV, Rajya Sabha elections, not TV. Now, Rajya Sabha elections are very complicated, and you don't really need to understand it, because the one thing that you need from it is, how does this affect me? राइट लाइक ठीक है, तुम पूरा इतना लेक्चर दे रहे हो कि कैसे चल रहा है, वन थर्ड रिटायर हो रहे हैं, फिर सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट हो रहा है, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा.
Hmm.
बट द बेसिक क्वेश्चन दैट समवन इज कमिंग टू मी फॉर इज, भाई इससे होता क्या है, मतलब मेरा क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?
Hmm.
So you explain it right there in
Hmm.
like 5-10 minutes. You should get to the point, right? And then baki ki theory etc you can do later. I think like that, right? Because I know my audience A doesn't have time. Plus two, I'm competing with a Netflix series. I mean, whether I like it or not, right? And I am competing with them. But I do want people to get this information in that time when they're not overly stimulated, right? So, I mean, from my perspective, I'm talking to them in a language that is quick, to the point, and also digestible, right? Rajya Sabha TV doesn't do that. Rajya Sabha TV doesn't even think about that, right? So
Okay.
that is the basic difference.
So what about something like a Rajya Sabha TV Plus? Because we
Hmm.
are also living in a time when podcasting is becoming more and more uh, influential, and
Hmm.
people are spending hours and hours and hours to listen to something like Amit Verma or a Joe Rogan podcast. These
Yeah,
are conversations.
yeah,
There is no video, there is nothing snazzy, there is not even a lot of explanatory value in what is being presented, unless it's like an half an hour episode. To for people to be listening to conversations which are 3 hours long
sure.
without break. So uh, can we place that, like, we talked about the conflict between the two formats, and then there is the third format that I want to talk about, which is long form in-depth conversations between two,
Hmm.
three, or four or five people about not even sometimes one topic, like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we are doing
absolutely.
right now. We
Yeah,
like I did make a thumbnail and I said I'm talking to an online newsman, but our
yeah,
conversation is going towards gaming, about media formats, about your personal history, and
yeah.
these kind of have value. So my worry, and I'm not even sure we're going to reach an answer, my worry is that, is this third format a special format that is coming into being right now, or is it a revival of good old Doordarshan days?
Podcasting, you mean?
Yeah,
Long
any kind of
form.
podcasting.
Yeah,
Podcasting is just audio,
but let's
but
put it long
basically,
form content.
non-snazzy, somewhat more boring than a live stream or a television channel.
Sure, but the interesting and the wonderful thing about, say, a live stream or a podcast like we are doing right now
Hmm.
is that I don't have to listen to it in one go. I don't even have to listen to it tomorrow. I can listen to it a year from now and it would still make sense, right? So, like,
Hmm.
for example, if someone who finds out about me a year from now might Google me and then stumble upon this podcast, and
Yeah,
then they'd be
yeah.
like, oh, let's see what this guy is saying. So it would make sense still, right? So in like a Rajya Sabha TV, or let's not say Rajya Sabha TV, in a news channel, right? It would have to be immediate, and the news becomes stale in 5 minutes, 15 minutes next day. फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है क्या हो रहा है, right? But for a podcast, we are looking at a long shelf life. Even when we are talking about many topics, the reason why we are talking about many topics is because we believe that, yeah, this conversation is valuable and it can stay on the internet and someone
Hmm.
can listen to it whenever they want, right? So podcasting as a medium works there, which I feel like Joe Rogan might have done a podcast 2 years ago, but people are still listening to it, right? People are still going there. And also, Amit Verma might have done like a 3.5 hour podcast with Pratap Bhanu Mehta, which I
Hmm.
heard, but I heard it like over a period of two
Over
weeks.
yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
same
I
here.
mean, like आधा घंटा, 20
I
minutes when
actually
I'm
started
going
listening to an
somewhere
episode
cooking.
of his podcast yesterday, and I listened to half an hour, and the next half an hour I'm going to listen tomorrow. So I spread
Yeah,
out
yeah,
his
yeah.
episodes.
And
Okay.
podcasting is a thing which is like background noise. It's
Yeah.
like people will listen to us, this podcast, people will listen to us when they are jogging, when they are cooking, when they are exercising or whatever, or just chilling or driving. That is when they'll listen to us. So we also have that in our mind, right? Like, chill scenes hai, background mein kuch chal raha hai, आवाज है, and you are listening to it, and that's great. Hi guys, hello listeners.
Okay. I just want to make clear, if anyone is listening to this at a later point in time and you are cooking, I'm not responsible for any accidents that happen.
Okay. that,
Bef-
that yeah, what do you think
Before
will happen, Bimo?
पता नहीं
Like,
इतना मंत्र
तवा गिर
मुग्ध हो
जाएगा
के,
पैर पे,
नहीं खाना जल जाएगा या सिलेंडर फट जाएगा या कुछ, दैट
भिंडी
वेंट
जल
रियली
जाएगी.
डार्क.
We are
नो
not
नो.
that interesting.
So before I proceed to the next question, I'll just like to thank Milind for the 100 rupees super sticker. Thank you,
Yeah,
Milind.
there's
And
so many people who are asking questions.
we'll get to it. But by the way,
Yeah.
I mostly end it in 1 hour. Do you
Hmm.
have time more than 1 hour, or would you
Sure,
like to end
sure.
in one
I'm
hour?
here. It's like what, 10:30 in the night.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's 10:30. Cool. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get to the question. I just have two more things on my list. I'll get through them quickly. I wanted
Hmm.
to talk to you about social media. In the
Yeah.
middle, thoda time ke liye, like your work requires you to go through a lot of, let's just say, triggering material, right?
Yes.
because
Hmm.
because our days are not what they used to be 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Reading the news, consuming the news is quite traumatic. I do it, I know what it is like. And you have to do it as it's work.
Hmm.
So has your social media usage pattern somewhat changed in the last few years? Like,
Oh
did
yeah.
you, was it like I used to go to Twitter to have fun, now I go to Twitter and I click on links like this, pata nahi kya hoga on the other end. People are sending me abuse, people are calling me anti-Hindu, calling me Ravan ka beta, वगैरह वगैरह. So does that happen? Because I do remember that you and I both went over to a microblogging platform called Mastodon in hopes
Oh
of
yeah.
finding peace, and that did
Yeah.
not last long.
No, it didn't. Of course, it didn't,
Yeah,
because nobody came there. So I mean, the
nobody
whole
came there.
point of Twitter is that there are so many people there to talk to.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
of course, and that
So
was, I was expecting that. I still wanted to try it, so it's fine.
okay.
And same with Clubhouse, right? Clubhouse, we met on Clubhouse. We
Clubhouse
used it
ran
for a
out of
while.
fuel because of the abuse that its rooms enabled. Like
Hmm.
still, if I log on to Clubhouse right now, they have added so many new features, and the only
Hmm.
people on social media who are excited about the Clubhouse, the app, is the Clubhouse social media account. Nobody
Yeah,
else cares.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, I think Twitter Spaces is actually doing a better job than Clubhouse now. I think that
Yeah.
I do like
Okay.
go to Twitter Spaces sometimes and listen to like random people.
Okay.
It's nice. Like, as a, again, as a background noise, it works, right? You know, like
Ha ha
you're
ha.
just listening to something, conversation happening,
Acha.
to keep yourself engaged. But my social media behavior, yes, has changed over time. But I think that is a function of how many followers you have at the end of the day, because I remember like specific points in my followership, as my like the abuses started, and then it intensified, then it multiplied, then it became a trend. So I mean, you know what I mean, right? So um, when I had like 300 people following me, I said shitty things. And I thought, कौन सुन रहा
Yeah.
है, क्या करेंगे 10 साल में, लेकिन क्या घंटा फर्क पड़ता है, कुछ भी बोल दूंगा, सुन ही कौन रहा है, right? It literally, the people, 300 people who were following me, I don't know, random accounts, 50 of them I knew myself, right? And we would talk to each other, like school
when
friends.
when did
And
you join Twitter?
yeah, 2008.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was when.
I think a few months after launch, 2000, yeah, 2008, yeah.
No, it launched in 2006.
Okay, so I joined in 2008 sometime.
I remember because I joined within the week of Twitter's launch. I was
Oh,
very early, very early.
oh. And
All my
like,
friends,
I
all my
joined
friends were
when,
Brazilian.
oh, I joined when you could SMS tweet. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
When
yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah,
use
yeah.
your phone and they would give you like a discount if you put a tweet as an SMS. You like
Yes.
SMS and then it went up as a
140
tweet. It's
character
like
because the SMS ka character limit was 160 characters. So you had to type cleverly, हाँ 140 characters हो गया भेज
140
देता हूँ.
characters.
फिर हो
Yeah.
जाता था.
And you have to remember usernames. So you have to like type at
Yeah,
this one, this one, this one, like, underscore this one, and
yeah,
then like mind blowing. But my behavior since then has changed massively. Um, so social media, I'm just active on Twitter, to be honest. I'm now not much active on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else, to be honest. And Twitter has been a news source for me for a while now. Like, I follow supremely random people. Just like Modi ji, I follow supremely random people. And
I
and
suppose
if
you are more
someone,
selective than he is.
no, I mean, if someone gives me like an amusing response, I immediately follow them.
Yeah, but
That's
if
my
they were
rule.
if they are posting genocidal comments, you will not follow them.
No, no, no. Then no, please no. um, but hey, he might be entertained as well. So, sorry, but
Probably.
anyway, my behavior is that I follow random people. I follow like a bunch of people. I get to see so many conversations happening at the same time, and I find that very interesting. That, while one group is talking about one particular thing that is going on in their bubbles, there's another group that is talking about another thing that is going on in their bubbles. Then there is cat Twitter also, which is happening.
Yeah.
Then there is BTS Twitter. I follow a lot of them, so that is also happening. So it's fun to watch all these things at the same time, right? And it makes you realize literally how many things are happening at the same time. So say, for example, if one of my tweets go viral and gets a lot of outrage or whatever, I see my timeline and I'm like, boss, मैं तो कहीं नहीं हूँ यहाँ पे. Like, it's just this one group of people that is outraging here. But
Yeah.
बाकी के तो they don't even care. It's like some universe में they are happy. There's
Yeah.
gaming Twitter also, which is intensely active, right? And they're literally lost in a fantasy world. So that's
Gaming
fun.
Twitter, I suppose, is different because they're not looking for responses. They're playing a game and their tweets are going one way. They
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
care
yeah.
who responds and who retweets,
Yeah,
etc.
absolutely.
Because they're
Super
busy
fun.
playing games.
Yeah. So
So
Twitter, I think I'd look at it as a more of a, ठीक है, information तो मिलता है, entertainment more now. I look at
okay,
it as an entertainment platform mostly. Sources, of course, I follow like media houses, etc. So if I see a story, I read it. That, too, of course. But other than that, I feel like it's a nice place to hang out. like, and just read what people are thinking, etc. That's it. But other than that, I just don't participate much. I barely tweet nowadays. I used
Okay.
to be like a 80 tweet a day person. I am now down to like 2 or 3 a day, or
I,
maybe
I
not
prefer
even
to
that.
I prefer to call it one thread person because उसके अंदर 80
One
tweets आ
thread
जाते हैं.
person.
It tells you that you are doing fairly well.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
there is a comment from Dhiru Bhai which came with 100 rupees that says, "Ask
Hmm.
Meghnad about the cult he started on Discord." What is he
Of
talking
course.
about?
I So everybody was going crazy in the pandemic. Like everybody was in lockdown, and I had this wild idea. It's a great time to start a cult. Is people are desperate. People are, like, looking for things to do. So I Discord पे एक server बनाया basically मैंने, and we called it the most self-aware cult in the world, because I was telling people, guys, you're joining a cult. But if like, I'm that transparent, like, listen, I'm going to influence your views. I'm going to like dictate this shit. I'm going to be like a proper cult leader. So come at your own risk. And people came, and I was behaving like an absolute cult leader. It was fun. It was like a giant role play server, if you want to look at it that way.
Does it still
And
exist?
no, we deleted it. Then it literally started behaving like a cult, and then I got scared, and then
Why?
I
What? What?
left.
What? What happened?
I mean, as people were lonely, things happened, conflicts happened.
Acha. Yeah,
Someone
that usually
wanted to
happens
be,
on Discord. Yeah.
yeah. And I had properly done it like a cult, right? So there were like the cult leaders' favorites, who were like 3 people. Then there were like 15 people who were like the peacekeepers, who would be like the law and order of the cult. And then like randos uske niche. So I was making it super hierarchical, and it obviously it led to conflicts. I mean, internet is a very nice and interesting place.
So I actually had one question on my list, which was like, Meghnad, if you had not been a journalist, what would you be? I guess now I
Uh,
don't have to answer.
I
Now I don't have
Oh,
to
a cult
ask.
leader. Wow. No, I would be. I've been thinking about this. Like, it keeps changing. So right now I'm like, oh, I should be a motivational speaker. बहुत पैसा मिलता है, बहुत.
That's true.
I guess like, I should talk about something. I don't know
You
what, but
should
I should.
ideally have not deleted the Discord server and
Yeah,
applied to have it recognized as a proper religion. You would have received tax exemption, 50 प्रकार का discount. लोग आके पाँव
yeah.
पकड़ते और you in time would have been able to campaign for political parties. That's the best career path right now.
Yeah. But other than that, I think I would a motivational speaker. So I would love to be a gaming streamer. Like, that
Yeah,
is
same.
again like a dream I have, which never really fulfills itself. I want to start a YouTube channel where I just put up gaming videos of me playing strategy games, not even like the RPG shooter types. It's
So,
like,
how long are your gaming sessions
Uh, so if you want to look at
usually?
my schedule,
Hmm.
so I can give you one stat. I have like Steam, I have now 3,200 hours in Dota. So that's a MOBA, right?
Got
That
it. Yeah.
that is one. But there are other games like Dyson Sphere Project and Surviving Mars and Frostpunk and all these like strategy games which I play. I've put up many hours into it. And basically, when I want to like just chill out, I game. I don't really watch things much. I game. So like I'm a gamer basically. I just
Okay.
find new games to play.
Fun fact: this channel was actually started with the intention of me also become a gaming streamer, but then I realized, then I realized I cannot sit in one place for 8 hours. Fuck this shit. I'm not doing it. If you go back to
Yeah.
the very first episode of this channel, it was me playing a game, and there was one person in the chat, and it was my nephew, and he only came in to tell me, "Hey, Tanmay Bhatt is live. I'm going."
Which game were you playing?
I was playing. I forget. I think it was some. It was arcade-ish looking, isometric 3D kind of thing. I don't even play like popular games.
That's a
I
bad
forget.
plan, Mimo. I'm glad you noticed it. It's so early
Yeah.
on.
Also,
It's
this
like,
this appears to be working right now. We talk about politics and atheism and all that.
yeah.
By the way,
No,
somebody
but
did
my
ask me.
thing is to mix the two actually. Like when I'm playing Surviving Mars, I should talk about politics. Like with
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
streamers.
Yeah.
It's like you're watching something happening, I'm doing that, but I'm also talking about politics and constitution and parliament. That is something I want to do. But again, I never tried it. I'm scared as everybody is, and I don't
Well,
know.
you already have the nice headphone. You could try it.
Yeah, of course. Like ये तो मतलब मार्कर ही है ना सीधा.
मार्कर है प्लस इट्स लाइक साइन ऑफ कमिटमेंट हो गया मतलब हेडफोन खरीद लिया मतलब मुझे गेम स्ट्रीमिंग करना ही है
I tried to
सो
stream on Twitch, by the way.
सो डिड आई
Yeah.
डिड यू ट्राई टू स्ट्रीम ऑन फेसबुक
I did
फेसबुक
not.
गेमिंग
No, 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 I
आई
haven't.
बिकेम अ फेसबुक गेमिंग पार्टनर ऑल्सो
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I played for 20 days according to the number of hours you're supposed to
Uh,
play, and I became a partner. And then I realized that I did not have it in me to continue doing this. It was going to break my back.
yeah.
So the channel kind of went on a hiatus for some time, and now I do this. So we talk about atheism, which reminds me, somebody did ask me if you believe in God. Here's a comment. Please, Meghnad,
Uh,
से उनके belief के बारे में ज़रूर पूछना. He's an atheist or a believer.
oh yeah, he's been asking this since the beginning.
That's because we
Vikash.
talk about atheism a lot on this live stream.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not an
Yeah.
atheist.
Okay.
I'm. I don't know how to put it. You can give me the words whenever you
hmm
get the word.
Do you
Uh,
believe God exists?
uh, I do believe there are things that exist that we do not understand, and I consider that as a godly power or like a superior being. It's the
But is this the God described in any known religion?
no.
So you are a Gnostic theist. No, you're an agnostic theist.
Agnostic theist. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, that's close to what I am, I guess.
yeah. I'm an
Uh,
agnostic atheist.
yeah, because my belief system, in my head, at least my belief system, I'm saying as if it's something fancy. In my head, I tried to make sense of what is a god, and like why are we like putting a Ganesh Murti and singing to it for like whatever. Growing up, right? And
Hmm.
it's tradition, and I was naturally a rebellious child, so everything that my family did I hated after a point. So then I started hating that, and then I thought that I'm an atheist. I do not
Okay.
believe in a god, etc. But I think over the years I realized that what god essentially is like early cavemen. When they looked at the sun, they did not understand it. They were like, ah,
Yeah.
god, look, yeah,
Yeah.
shiny. I think there are still things in this universe that we don't understand. I genuinely believe that is God. Like, I mean, until we understand it, everything else is just God, right? And it's a deep dark hole that might be endless. We don't
Hmm.
know where where human curiosity stops, right? Because I don't think it does. It's infinite. So
Yeah.
why
So
are
my
we?
point is, like, the
Yeah.
reason I'm an agnostic atheist is that, first of all, I don't know if there are gods,
Hmm.
and therefore there is no reason to believe that there are gods. If I don't know something, why would I believe it? That is my position.
Hmm. Huh. Interesting. That's also a decent position to. But there's this belief word, right? The belief word is where the trick lies. Where if you are the one defining your own god, and then believing in it, like I believe in the energy of the universe, right? Like that I do not understand it, so I believe in it. That there is something happening which I don't understand, and that for me just looks like god, right? But like for you, like for or someone else, like there is someone else who is defining a god and then
Hmm.
saying, look, this is god, you have to pray to it, and that's fine. Then that person will believe in that god, right? And it's just a matter of what you believe in, and it doesn't
Well,
matter what you believe
do
in
you really want to
after
go
a
deep
point.
into this? Because I would love to have a conversation about this. Maybe this
Sure.
is not the right platform for it. But
Okay.
my point is, belief is a thing. But if you don't have a definition of what you believe in, then how do you know that what you believe is true? Because that is at the end of the day what I'm concerned with. How do you know that what you believe is true?
It shouldn't be. It's not a necessity, right?
Huh. So you are
Truth
not
is not
really.
a necessity. I genuinely feel like
So you're saying
sure
God
there.
is only an idea in your head?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
It is.
that I'm okay with, because God
It's
is an
it's a
idea just like any other idea.
it's like how people define spirituality sometimes, right? Like
Oh God,
it's
don't even
a
get me started. There is no
and also
definition of
people are
spirituality
like
either.
I think Jasmine is like move on boys. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we can, like, if you don't mind, I have this idea, like, I'll just
Yeah,
bounce it off you, that I'll get people on the on the chat, and we will talk about how they define God or what they believe in and stuff.
yeah,
So if you want, we can do it on a separate day, but this
sure.
was supposed to be about the online newsman.
Yeah,
So so we will drop the topic for right now in
yeah,
deference to Jasmine.
yeah.
uh, there is a comment from member. Hold on, कहाँ गया? Yes, there is a comment from member Purvesh, says actually India has very less potential games and there is only two games which are recognized worldwide.
Oh,
Are there many Indian games, by the way? Not that I would know.
no. There is one. What was it called?
Oh yeah, he
Recently,
says
I
it's
played.
Raji and Asura made
Raji
by
and
Nodding
Asura.
Head.
Yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, Raji. Raji, I played a little bit with a friend. I mean, whatever, but it's a nice game. I like it. Asura, I haven't tried yet. Both are
Hmm.
based on mythology, but I'm seeing them as an art, as I'm
So I'm a
also
game
a game
artist.
artist. Yeah,
Yeah, the reason he
absolutely.
felt it
Raji is a
important to
beautiful
clarify is
game.
because Raji is
Yeah,
a beautiful game. I played the demo.
beautiful
I
game.
played the
Yeah,
demo. Yeah.
it's a beautiful looking game, and the accents are annoying as fuck though. Like it's like why, but still,
I know the
I
voice
mean,
artists.
yeah, it's just oh you do, yeah, yeah, a nice
Yeah.
game. I like it. Uh,
So what I'll do is that I will ask you one last question, which
mm,
and then we will move on to the comments one by
yeah.
one. We'll take some good questions. Uh, my question is, with respect to media and the state of the news ecosystem and the state of politics, etc., are you generally speaking optimistic about the future of this country,
Yes, always have been, and I still am. Um,
and always
I
will be?
yeah, I mean, I can't say about the future. I don't know how my mind will be at what point. I might
You
become
can
deeply
believe in God,
cynical.
but you can't believe in the future of India.
No, of course not. I mean, I don't know what will happen. It's like it depends on my state of mind, right? I'm
Hmm.
feeling optimistic right now, so I will be optimistic. It's fine, but then maybe it might change later for some
Hmm.
reason. Some reason, some event might happen which might change me forever. You don't know. But the point being, yes, I'm optimistic because I genuinely believe we are a supremely young country. 70 साल आजादी के हुए हैं मतलब मोदी जी एंड एवरीवन एल्स इज लाइक 70 साल हो गए 70 साल is nothing. I look
Yeah,
at India as a 7-year old child. Like every 10 years is 1 year in a human life. If you look at it,
of a
India
nation's
is
life. Yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah.
like a 7-year old child.
Hmm.
And America is like now like a 20-year old, right? So if you look at that way, we are just becoming aware about our rights. Our like it's just permeating at least to a large extent to the ground. Even if it's through WhatsApp forwards and some garbage, there are some messages that are going, which are about civic awareness, which are about feeling proud about the country, which are
Hmm.
about feeling a pride of being Indian. And I feel like those are genuinely very good emotions, right? Whether you have to be chauvinistic about it is a different matter, right? I don't think so you need to be aggressive about it, but again, I'm speaking from a personal perspective. I feel like some people might want to project that and become aggressive about um, you know uh, like loving their country, whatever, flag jhanda halana hai, whatever jo bhi karna hai. But then that also goes a little extreme. That is where I have a problem, where it becomes like violent, right? Where there is civic violence, where there is actual violence, physical violence, mental violence. It's an unending list there. uh,
Hmm.
but I stop at that point where you are expressing love for your country. Great, man. Like put a flag on your Twitter ID. Feel great about an India Pakistan match or whatever it is. Just just like be aware that it can get into like a mob mentality sort of an affair, right? Do not get like, do not get sort of influenced by that mob, which is going to use
So that
that
is your
love for the nation into a political purpose or a purpose to gain more power for that group. That is
that is
where,
your wish
yeah,
for what must happen. But given
yeah.
your understanding of whatever, you have been a journalist, you have been watching what has been happening, you have been covering things on the ground also. Sometimes the sense that we get is that most people don't know what is good for the nation and therefore are making bad decisions, and therefore we are going in a bad direction. Do you
That
think that
I
that is
know. I
true? Do you think
uh,
that that is actually true on the ground because you have met people and spoken to people while covering recent elections also?
I'll give you an example of this exact thing, right?
Hmm.
I was working in Parliament. GST was being introduced, and the bill was being discussed.
Hmm.
Me and my MP had prepared for 2 weeks with the bill, and we were like all prepared to go in and, like, give a speech and all that. Super intense day. I go there, I watch the debate is happening inside. I come out to thoda sa to breathe in the parliament. So you have this round, and then you come out, and there's gate
Hmm.
number 3. If you come out from there, there's a media gaggle there all the time. So anybody who wants to give a comment comes out of gate number 3, right? So I came out of gate number 3, and I was just sitting there on the side, and this reporter comes in, and this minister is coming out, and he asks them ki, Yogi Adityanath said ki Surya Namaskar is great for your health, what do you think? And literally the minister is like, जीएसटी का डिस्कशन चल रहा है अंदर, तुम ये क्या पूछ रहे हो? And then the guy cut it, right? It was like, नहीं नहीं sir, question answer करो. Then he asks again, and then he answers, हाँ हाँ, Surya Namaskar is great for your health, everybody should do it, whatever. It blew my mind, right? So it's like, you, from the surface you might think that our representatives have very different priorities, right? Like from the surface it might seem like they care about something super superficial or whatever, but when it comes down to policy making, I would say 80% of them are super serious. They take the effort to read the bill, they take the effort to talk to people, they take the effort to understand what is happening, etc. They might not be able to do anything about it ultimately, but
Hmm.
at least they try to gain that awareness. I have seen MPs, I've worked with MPs who had no clue how parliament functions, absolutely zero idea, right? Matlab, civics classes, I thought I was dumb when I went into that fellowship, and I had no idea how parliament works. But when I went in and I saw MPs don't know, I was like, holy shit, like,
Hmm.
why was I feeling bad about it? Right? They take 5 years to learn how parliament works. Then after 5 years, they start actually being effective, right? But they do want to be effective, right? I think
But
80% of them.
this was like when you were working with an MPA, and
Yeah,
therefore probably around 2014, 2015.
yeah. So I started in 2011, and I
Okay.
was working with them till 2018.
Okay. So do you
Yeah.
think anything has changed since 2018 to now? Do you think MPs are still as serious as they used to be? Do you think the media's
More serious,
priorities have more
more
serious?
serious now. Yeah, than 2011, definitely more serious now. More
Okay.
aware, more serious. Uh, I think more studied as
I
well.
ask because we don't actually get that impression from
Yeah.
the media bites that we hear about them, because it's
But then media is
five
not
times out
asking
of
them those questions. That's what
yeah,
the
yeah,
illustrative example was, right? The media is asking them about Surya Namaskar. If
yeah.
the reporter asked him about bhai aapka GST pe kya vichar hai, the guy was prepared. He was there in the debate. He could
Hmm.
have come up with like 2-3 points about, what the system means for him. He was a BJP MP, right? But still
He
they
wanted
have
to.
their views,
Hmm.
yeah. And again, it's like the questions are wrong, right? We are asking all the wrong questions, and
Do you think the
therefore we are
media,
getting wrong answers. Like
because
केजरीवाल को अभी इंटरव्यूज में पिछले हफ्ते केजरीवाल इज बीइंग आस्क्ड, अच्छा आप तो हनुमान के भक्त निकले, चलिए हनुमान चालीसा गाइए on a news channel for multiple interviews. How?
yeah.
Why? Why are we doing this?
So my question is related, kind of like if the media is asking dumb questions, or asking immaterial questions that have nothing to do with, the development
Yeah.
uh, mindset that even the MP, in as you described, wants to pay attention to. Is the media changing the priorities of the members of the parliament? Like, do you notice that a member of parliament is like, why should I do all the hard work if the only thing I'm going to be known for is this Surya Namaskar answer? Do you think that might be happening?
No, so I mean, I think there is a general awareness in Parliament also that most of the speeches they give, most of the bills that they put up, etc., are not going to get the attention of the media, right? There are 750 members of Parliament who want to get in there and say something that gets attention, and like, and that is their objective. Like, they want to get some sort of attention, so they will go out and make outrageous statements, etc., etc. But when it comes to their turn of giving serious speeches on legislation, etc., they do that as well, but then nobody
Hmm.
covers that, right? I mean,
Okay.
nobody's talking about that. If Manish Tiwari goes out and says a controversial statement, say opposing, say, Rahul Gandhi, versus Manish Tiwari talking about the Delhi Municipal Corporation and how it is being taken over by the central government, which one plays more, right? So media, because they also want eyeballs, because they want advertisements, they want more people to be stuck to their channel, they also try to find these sort of little ways in which they can grab that attention, right?
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
self-serving cycle, right? So they assume that people want to watch this, and people assume this is what they're going to get.
Hmm.
So if we are stuck in that loop.
Okay. I asked because the media certainly seems to be changing the priorities of the people with
Hmm.
respect to what they expect from the news. So I was
Yeah, yeah.
wondering if it is working that way also.
Sure, I guess, but a lot of people also watch the news for entertainment now. I
Yeah.
mean, it is, and when I say a lot of people don't watch news. Okay, so like I
Yeah.
think there was some
Rather, don't watch
statistic.
TV.
Yeah, now they don't watch TV, but
Yeah.
even with the TV watching population, I think the news segment is like some 2%, 3% of the total viewership, which is really not much. Most
Hmm.
people are watching sports, IPL वगैरह देख रहे हैं, या फिर they are watching movies, right? Movie channels पे, या फिर, what else is there on TV? I don't even know what is there on TV these days.
Even I don't know. Even I
Some,
haven't. I
yeah,
haven't
some
watched TV in a
serial or
long time.
whatever. Yeah,
Like something
Saas
really fun.
Bani Nagina or something.
Exactly, like
Yeah,
Big Boss, I suppose.
yeah.
I leave my room. There is massive shouting noises coming from the TV room, and I can't tell if it is Republic or Big Boss. That is where we are.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, let us look at some comments now
Yeah.
because we have been ignoring the comments for quite some time. Monmat Sahu says, "Thanks, Vijendra, for bringing Meghnad. I'm all ears. It's going to be fun." Oh, this is an old comment. By the way, he's been doing a great job at Newslaundry. In fact, the whole team does.
Oh,
Great.
that was a comment that came in even before I joined the live. Okay. Thanks,
That
Manmat,
that
if
just
you're
shows
still
that I
around.
do not ignore any comments.
Yeah.
Vika says, "Thanks, Vima, for bringing Meghnad. Bhaiya, I watched his one of the best videos, which was an exposing Sadhguru with evidence and
Oh,
all,
of
and that was a
course.
great job." Yeah,
Thanks.
because we
By the
talk a
way,
lot
I
about.
I did not do the reporting for that. I need to clarify it. It was my colleague Pratik who, there was an NL Sena project we had put up. He spent like some 3 months going through their documents and everything, and I made a video out of that. So please go read his reports. They're even better than my video. If you want to know more about Sadhguru, they're way more detailed and way more spicy and juicy.
Oh yeah, we have a friend of this channel called Pranav Radhakrishnan who runs a channel called Science is Dope.
Yeah,
He's
I
done.
know.
He's done. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
I see.
yeah.
I just saw his video yesterday on Sadhguru.
On Sadhguru, yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
been
yeah.
getting a bunch of hate for it also,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's
I
also
got it
been
too.
getting a lot of exposures, which is good. Which is good.
Yeah.
So uh, there is a comment from. Uh, Hold on, where did it go? Aditya says, "I'm going to pay for News Laundry the day I have emergency funds ready."
Okay.
And
Emergency funds ready.
and
Matlab,
then he adds, "Become a member. My broke ass has already paid to subscribe to make news free. Can't give money to Wimo also now. That's okay. If you have to choose between me and News Laundry, choose News Laundry.
or you can alternate. It's great.
No, choose News Laundry every single time. Uh,
Thanks, man. Thanks for the support.
Aditya says Meghnad is not really that bad a figure. Akshay Kumar also is Ravan's son. What?
Akshay
Akshay
Kumar
Kumar
is
is Ravan's
Ravan's
son.
son? Hey?
Is this a reference to some Akshay Kumar movie? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Uh, Super Peachy says, I wish more people knew that who funds the media. Today I was told off by a guy to start a channel because I shared news on my WhatsApp story. What?
Oh, that must be hilarious. Super,
Yeah.
super
मतलब this
peachy.
must be
Yeah.
one of those comments. इतना प्रॉब्लम है तो अपना चैनल क्यों नहीं शुरू करता उस टाइप
Ah,
का होगा.
exactly. It's like, अरे इतना
Dude,
प्रॉब्लम है तो तू गवर्नमेंट बन जाना. It's like that sort of a thing. It's like
yeah.
कंप्लेंट क्यों करते हो? पॉलिटिक्स में like इलेक्शन लड़ो ना. I was like, how, where?
Like somebody asked me, are you going to join politics? And I said, I am already in politics, and so are you. Nobody
Mm,
who lives in a
mm.
political system is outside politics. That's an illusion.
The question should be, do you want to be elected? And the other, what would the question be if you're do you want to join politics is a weird question to begin with.
Yeah.
If that's the premise we're starting
Do
with,
you
what
want to
would
join
the
a political party? Might be a good question.
that's actually a better question. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to join a political party? And then immediately which one? So like then it becomes that,
Wh-
right? So which
Which
is
is
great.
which is what this comment is about.
Yeah.
Meghnad ji, what are your personal stand on Indian politics? What are your views on communist ideology? Is it going
Oh
to work in
wow.
India? Can it rise as an antagonist to the uprising extremist right wing?
Oh wow, that's a very heavy question. What is my personal stand on Indian politics?
Like, do you have any politics? Do you have an ideological stand?
Uh, I always say that I feel like nowadays to say that I'm anti-establishment is making
Hmm.
a political statement.
Yeah.
That is it. I'm anti-establishment. I question those in power. Right. That's my politics. Right.
Which is what should be the ideological position of any journalist, I
Yeah, and I
suppose.
expect answers is
Hmm.
also politics, right? So it's my right to get answers. You
Are
can't
there
just
people
be
who?
there and take our salaries, take our taxes, and not give me answers. You might
Yeah.
better deserve answers. I
Yeah.
mean, and so when you say what do I feel strongly about, I feel strongly about people in power giving me answers. That is my politics, right? And it's a very basic thing that I have, and I do not want to go beyond that, or I do not even try to go beyond that, because it gets very confusing very fast based on which region you are in, what party you're talking about, what favorite leader you're talking about. People change their opinions about your politics anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for example, if we went to Uttar Pradesh and we covered Samajwadi Party, we covered BJP rallies, we covered you know BSP rally, someone will come in and say कि अरे ओम प्रकाश राजभर की पार्टी क्यों नहीं कवर की? Do you hate them? Then do you hate their caste? Do you hate their this? Do you hate their that? Do you? And so it's a list then that about things I hate according to that person, because I did not pay attention to their favorite party or candidate. So if you go beyond just the basic politics I have, it gets very confusing for me, so I don't even try. uh, and it
This
changes
is
constantly.
like this thing that you just mentioned कि इस पार्टी को क्यों नहीं किया क्या do you hate them, like why
Hmm.
does do you hate them always be, why is that always the supplement question after everything else, like,
Yeah.
oh, so you don't want dal, why do you hate dal, why do I have to hate dal, I just I'm not in the mood for dal every single time. I remember somebody messaged me saying, dude, don't listen to American media, they question their own president, and I'm like, that's their job,
Yeah.
that is why they exist.
And is communist going to work in India? What are your views on communist ideology? I don't think there is pure communism in India. I don't think there is. Nobody. Our structure is built in a way that it won't let communism thrive. Right?
Hmm.
It's like
It won't let anything become the single
no.
dominant way
It
of
we are
life.
nothing. We are a very mixed bag of political ideologies everywhere. Right? One. It's all gray. Like in Kerala, you will still have very left leaning ideology, but then they will also indulge in some small amounts of capitalism on the side. Like they will always be like well, tourism बढ़ाना है तो फिर oh, let's invest in these projects, right? What is
Hmm.
that, right? So and they're
Capitalism,
promoting
yeah.
like something, or they're promoting a yeah. But then there is on the other side, there might be like a Gujarat, right, who is like super pro capital, but then they also do have to do welfare, right? It's not like they don't give like Pradhan Mantri this ration scheme, right? They also do it, right? Manrega wahan pe bhi chalta hai, right?
Hmm.
So it's like a mix all the time. You can't have one or the other, right? There will be degrees of what the political party believes in and what sort of policies they want to implement, but there will always be a degree of uh, mixed sort of political ideologies everywhere in India, right?
Uh,
In every
uh,
state.
Related question: do you
Mm.
think there is any way any Indian political party is going to uh, escape socialism? Because even right now, we are looking at
No.
political parties with a Hindutva agenda having
Mm.
to send ration to people's homes and do direct cash transfers.
They always had. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the thing. That's the weirdest thing, right? I feel like BJP is such a great party because they are able to deliver welfare as it should have been years ago,
Hmm.
right? One thing that Modi is doing well is that they are delivering ration. There is very less corruption in the middle. There is बैंक में सीधा पैसा जा रहा है, लोगों का बैंक अकाउंट भी उन्होंने ही खोला है,
Hmm.
and they're including people in the financial system, the mainstream financial system. Whether that is right or wrong, again, don't ask me. I have many views about that, but the fact is that people needed this and they're getting this. And during the pandemic, each of them got 500 rupees in their banks for 3 months. It's a big thing. Like, it might not seem big to us right now, but it is a big thing. And I've seen this on the ground where people worship him for this, right?
So,
Like,
was this a huge factor in the UP win?
yes, yes, absolutely. That was one of the biggest factors because we went to this village. We were doing like a just a survey of schemes. If you can see the video, it's there,
Hmm.
uh, of what people are getting. So they were getting 4 to 5 schemes, right? Ration mil raha tha, Kisan Yojana mein they were getting money in their banks. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana mein their naam at least was registered and the money came in like one installment or whatever. So one guy was like, हाँ तो दिया ना, मतलब खाना दिया, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दिया, ये भी दिया, चूल्हा भी दिया, तो अब क्या मोदी घर पे आके खाना बनाएगा? Do you, is that what you want? And he got so aggressive about it, and I completely get that, right?
Hmm.
Because they're happy, they never got this before, now they are. So
Okay.
welfare is something that BJP is getting right, and that is such a weird thing to say if you look at it that way, right? But they are getting it right.
All right. So there is a question from
Hot
Nishant.
girls and boys video chats, best
No,
scams
no.
dot fun.
There is a question from Nishant. As Meghnaji, is it brave? It is brave of you to present to people about the deeds of charismatic Babas, but do you think it will make a difference for those people on whom the Baba has made an emotional impression?
No, it won't. No, I'm not even expecting that. So, listen,
So what are you expecting
Nishant.
when you make, like, your job is to spread awareness and to
Yes,
inform the public so that they
yes,
can make better decisions. What is your
yes.
expectation when you make a video like that?
So my job is to basically tell you about Sadhguru, right? His facts, right? Like, this is what happened. This is who he is. This is
Hmm.
the cases he's involved in. This is his life laid out, right? And I did a very tiny portion of it. Like, Pratik did a giant job of it, right? Like, 3-part series. Like, went through his finances, went through his personal affairs, went through his Isha Foundation, found so many things, right? And the job of a journalist is to put all of that in front of you and let you be the judge of it. Like, I'm not telling you whether you should believe in Sadhguru or whether you should buy his that wooden box which is for 20,000 rupees from his website. I'm not telling you any of that. It's not my
Hmm.
job. When I'm reporting on Parliament, I do some commentary, some opinions I give, but then I make sure that people know that I'm giving that opinion according to me. I'm
Hmm.
saying this, right? I make that clear because my job is to tell you what is happening in Parliament. You decide whether it's right or wrong, right? That is the ultimate goal, right? No.
So you and Newslaundry have faced some legal repercussions because of the work you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that the thing that you just said, this is just my opinion. Does this serve as a good defense when you are faced with legal repercussions? Like you
The
say that this
legal
is just our opinion.
No, the legal cases are, of course, we are doing satire, right? So that
Hmm.
is what they have a problem with. Like, we're making, oh, you're making fun of us. Basically, that is their whole legal notice, right?
Hmm.
That too, it's just nonsense, right? If I like, if I was a criminal offender, so I have a personal defamation case against me also. So they named everyone, right? So I have one Times Now say as well. So
So these are
I did.
separate cases against individuals.
So Manisha is named. I'm there. Newslaundry is there, etc. And the case is happening, so I can't really discuss what is
Okay, okay,
happening
okay,
in the
okay. Got
case.
it, got it.
But the main complaint there was that, oh, you're hurting our reputation, and also copyright infringement. No,
Hmm.
copyright infringement was Aaj Tak, if I'm not wrong. So many cases it got
Okay.
jumbled up. So yeah, but yeah, what was I saying? I just went into a ramble again.
Like the hopes. I brought up legal repercussions, and I was wondering if the fact that one of your defenses is that I don't want to affect people's mind. This is just my way of putting things. Is that a
Hmm.
legal defense that floats?
It won't be a legal defense. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not sure. No, it won't be a legal defense. Like, and of course, like, opinion giving is not a crime.
Okay.
And if I lie outrightly about someone and their reputation is hurt, our defamation law is shitty.
Hmm.
Let's put it first. Like, we actually filed a private members bill called speech bill, trying to reform it, saying that if you say something against someone and the person says कि मेरा reputation hurt हुआ है, that should be provable. The value should be provable. कि how much value have you lost,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that should be provable, and that is only when the defamation case should work.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it shouldn't, right? Otherwise,
Okay.
it's like all garbage.
So there's a related question from before the Big Bang.
Hmm.
How India should navigate free speech and restriction? What is the boundary and how do we navigate through it?
It's a
Probably,
so
probably talk about free speech and hate speech and stuff. Like, what is the difference?
so
Because
look
we
at
do
it.
get asked.
Look at free speech this way, right? Free speech will always evolve with the consciousness of the society. The society at large always decides what are the levels of free speech you're allowed in the society, right? So if I would say that a village in UP will have more free speech than, say, an auditorium in Delhi right now, right? Because, say, for example, I'll just give you one example: Dharam
Hmm.
Sansad.
Hmm.
The Dharam Sansad that happened in Haridwar, the first one. So me and our team, Manisha and Parikshit, we went to that place, the Haridwar. We went to the ashram where it happened, and we met the organizers, right? The organizers, when we were interviewing him, he was giving very, problematic and very bigoted answers. Of course, Muslims ke rights le lo, the
Hmm.
usual, right? Now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
become the usual. It's so terrible when I say it, but it is. um, but when we went to the ashram and we spoke to the shopkeepers around it and the people around it, they had no idea this event happened. So they said कि वहां पे कोई लाउड स्पीकर वगैरह लगा नहीं था, फेसबुक पे चल रहा था कहीं तो भी,
Acha.
दिल्ली में चला ये सब कुछ, यहाँ पे तो किसी को पता भी नहीं ये हो रहा है. When they found out was a week later when the police came to investigate. फिर like, अरे ये क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे, etc. Then it came in the paper. They like, oh, अच्छा, हमारे ही सामने हुआ था यहाँ पे. So think about it, right? Why are they doing this? Right? Why are they doing this?
To
And
create
who
video
are they
clips.
talking to?
To create
Right?
TikTok videos.
I mean, who are they talking to? It's a big
Yeah.
question. And who do they want to influence? Who do they want to rile up? Who do they want to distract? Who do they want to sort of annoy? Right? It's a question
They
of
want to
that. So
like one of the goals definitely is that they want to ride the wave of liberal outrage. Like they
yep,
want to create stuff. They want people to share that stuff on social media and say,
yep,
"Oh my God, how bad this is," so that
yep.
their message goes even far. Like the right wing has weaponized liberal outrage.
Absolutely, it has. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like beyond the liberal outrage, it's the same principle for, if you put it that way, BJP.
Streisand effect,
When Streisand effect, no.
reverse Streisand effect.
Uh,
Like
Also
like
no.
like uh, they say things that should not be said, so that we talk about it.
Yes, that's actually a good way to put it. But also, like for example, if you are not doing this, if you are not being hateful, if you are not, putting someone down,
Hmm.
you won't be in a position that is upper, right? So the whole strategy of position of going up in life is to push people down, right? But for like a genuine person who wants to advance in life, they will look at how will my graph go up, like how will I
Hmm.
personally, like my knowledge will increase, my uh, awareness will increase, how will I increase my economy, how will I personal economy, how will I do investments, etc. They're not wasting their time with this, right? They're
Hmm.
just trying to create groups of people who are below them in their worldview, so that they
Hmm.
feel great about themselves. They feel proud, they feel great about themselves, and it happens everywhere. I mean, it's a very obvious thing. This is where we started as well, right? So
Right. So I have a question that might trigger you a little bit. Do you agree with the opinion that gaming, sports, entertainment, etc., gets in the way of people fulfilling their role as an active citizen in a democracy?
no, I game all the time and I do a YouTube show about parliament. How is that for an answer?
You are
No,
not
it's
everyone,
not.
okay?
It's like asking if you watch, if you binge watch Netflix, is it affecting your role as an active citizen?
No, I suppose this is one of those arguments you hear from uncle. आजकल के बच्चे टीवी देख के खराब हो गए. So this is the internet variety of that comment.
या आजकल के बच्चे पबजी खेल के बिगड़ गए सबके
पबजी
सब।
खेल के, लाइव स्ट्रीम देख के और स्पोर्ट्स देख के, क्रिकेट देख के, सनीमा देख के खराब हो गए वो सब.
सनीमा देख के खराब हो गया, एग्जैक्टली।
Subhanshu says, ask Meghnad if he has watched the documentary Target is Your Brain.
नो, आई हैवंट। आई विल लुक इट
Okay,
अप, शुभांशु।
great. Hemant says, hi Meghnad, what are your views on Aam Aadmi Party now and do you remember me? What? Do you
हेमंत
remember
सिंगल, हैव
Hemant
वी
Singhal?
मेट बिफोर? I know many Hemants, so forgive me, Hemant Singhal, if I
And
don't
I know many
remember you.
people who are single.
Oh, please. Oh, that's such a weird, such a bad joke. Fuck.
I had a publisher whose second name was Singhal, and we used to make this joke to him, and he was very sweet about it. So, what are your views on the Aam Aadmi Party?
Uh, I think they've learned over time, and they're learning
Okay.
very fast, which is kind of nice to see. I feel like, um, in the beginning of a political career, if you want to become a successful politician, you have to do two things. One is you take criticism damn seriously, right?
Okay.
And you do something about it. So
Hmm.
that those are the two things you have to do. I feel like in the beginning of years, Madmi Party, because it came out of a movement that was very aggressive, and we will not listen to you, we will not listen to you, we will not listen to you. That was the basic stand of IAC, right? We have things which we think are right, you give it to us, otherwise we are not listening to you. That was IAC, right? Aam Aadmi Party came out of that. It
Hmm.
did come out of that mindset as well. So for a while they were doing that, like हमको ये चाहिए, हमको ये चाहिए, हमको चाहिए, हमको सुनना ही नहीं है. But then, like, I think a few years down the line, when um, critics came in and they said, "Bhai, this is not the way to go about it," etc. I feel like they learned. Kejriwal fighting 2014 elections was a mistake, right? They did not have candidates. They did not even realize how much money it will take to do like a nationwide campaign. But they tried it anyway, right? They were
Yeah.
like, "हाँ करके देखते हैं" types. Failed. But then now, if you look at their whole expansion strategy, it's so targeted, right? Like they're going regional. They're looking for local leaders. They're looking for local faces,
Hmm.
and they are expanding that way. So I think that's a very clever way to do it right now in the current political scenario, because BJP is trying to run on one face. They're trying to capture the public imagination in one phase. That is the biggest vote getter they have.
Hmm.
So what can be a counter strategy? And you can see this happening with all regional parties now, who want to expand. TMC, Aam Aadmi Party being
They're
specifically
putting
two.
forward a face, yes.
Yeah, even NCP and Shiv Sena is also making moves in that direction. They have realized that they have no answer whenever there is no Congress in front of them,
Hmm.
right? So it's like their whole strategy was based on Congress Mukh Bharat, right? And people really hated the Congress, and they still do, and for some legitimate reasons as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but then when there is no Congress there in front of them, what happens then? Then the policies compete, right? And if you look at BJP right now, they're just Congress, just that they're doing a better job of implementing the policies.
Yeah.
So if you look
Including
at
the
it that
things that they
way,
said that the Congress did badly and we are not going to do it, they're doing the same
Manrega,
things. Yeah,
Manrega,
Manrega,
yeah, like he cursed, Prime Minister cursed Manrega as
Aadhaar
the
of
biggest
all
failure.
things.
Aadhaar again. So you will see like so many of these examples.
Yeah.
Just that they're great at advertising the schemes that Congress came up with and tweaked it a little bit and made it into like this nice marketing package and put it forward. And also implementation, right? They are making
Hmm.
sure that it gets implemented. So people are happy. Bhaiya, this is great. Just that the name tag has changed a little bit. So if there is no Congress in front of them, they kind of get baffled. And you've seen this happening so many times.
Hmm. There's a question from Dhiru Bhai. Does BJP's welfare scheme work only before elections or all the time? Did UP's welfare scheme work flawlessly between 2017 and 21?
I can't give you the exact data, but from anecdotal ground from what I heard, and again I'll tell you, UP is a country by itself, so I'm not talking about all regions. I'm talking about specifically Muzaffarnagar wala area and Varanasi ke aspas wala area and Gorakhpur wala area. So we went to a bunch of places there, villages, and spoke to students as well, university students who came from villages. We were talking to them about how effective delivery is, and I would say around 90% of them were happy with how schemes were working. BJP's
Okay.
schemes, central schemes were working, and in UP, of course, the state schemes were also working. Yogi Adityanath stand for law and order was super popular, right? And they were very happy ki gundagardi khatam kar diya, etc. Even though I had no idea what gundagardi used to look like before this. But
Hmm.
anyway, but anecdotal example, yes, they worked before the elections as well. It's a long process. You can't just give ration right before the election and it will be all great. No, you have to give ration consistently so that people know that nahi khana aa raha hai ghar pe, right? You have to give manrega payment consistently to know that acha nahi 100 days ka paisa mil raha hai, right? So you can't just do it before the elections. Welfare is not not that.
Okay. Okay. Nishant Patel asks again, by the upsurge of social media, many have become opinion imposers and hence all the bias and people are influenced. In that context, how can a layman like me know what things to pick from them? They're talking, I suppose, about how do I know what is true?
Yeah, question everything, no? That's the basic thing. Like, just even so, if you look at it, I'm anti-establishment. I will question those in power, right? For you, I might be powerful. You question me, then yeah,
Hmm.
so I should give you the same courtesy as well, right? Like, so I have some amount of power, limited amount of power when it comes to opinion giving and influencing, say, people. So then you should be the one who is keeping me accountable, right? Because you should also question those in power, and in this case I am also in power in this hierarchy of opinion space, political space, however you want to put it,
No, I think he
and
may be
I should
asking
take it
about
seriously.
I think he may be asking about news sources and how to tell which ones are authentic and which ones
Precisely
are
that point, precisely where
okay.
I'm coming from. I'm using my example as a news source, right?
Hmm.
So I'm just saying that whenever you read something, whenever you look at opinion makers, etc., keep questioning it, even to
Okay.
yourself. You don't have to go on social media and ask them directly, but keep questioning it. Ha, maybe this I'm not so sure about, I should look it up myself.
Hmm.
And you look it up yourself. It's not very hard. Google ही तो करना है, दो तीन आर्टिकल ही तो पढ़ने हैं उसके बाद. So if you are curious, the point is that you are curious. If I say something and you do not agree with it and you're like नहीं यहाँ पे कुछ तो भी bias दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे कुछ तो भी opinion दिख रहा है, you will have that basic understanding. Then you go and Google it, right? Like whatever I said, is it true or not? If it's
Hmm.
not true, you can call me out or not, or you can just be like, "Nay, this was wrong. It's fine. Maybe whatever."
Or
And
you
you
can,
can
or they can stop listening to you and go listen to someone else.
sure, absolutely.
Hmm. So there is a question from Jeshmin. What are your views on reservation? Are you for caste-based reservation?
Yes, I am. I'm for caste-based reservation. Absolutely, I am.
Do you
Um,
think, in the aftermath of the US बोल रहा हूँ, UP election, there was a lot of talk about the upsurge in Dalit Bahujan politics that happened
hmm,
under Mayawati.
hmm.
Whether it is still on, whether it is weakened, whether it is going to be revived, there has been a lot of talk about it. Do you have any views about that?
I feel like BSP का campaign बहुत ठंडा था इस बार. I feel like they don't have money. I mean, that might be a genuine
Mm-hmm.
problem. Okay, like some
Maybe.
parties just don't have money anymore
Yeah.
to campaign, and BSP might not have money, right?
Because
They might be not be able to, yeah, even if they have money, they are not able to spend it because ED आ जाएगा, IT आ जाएगा, कुछ भी हो सकता है, right?
yeah, that has been a tactic that's unfortunately been used
Yeah,
against many leaders. Maybe that was one of the reasons Mayawati could not do all that she wanted to do.
yeah, absolutely. And BJP resource wise is insane. Like they're like a election machine, and they have a revenue stream now in the form of electoral bonds, which
By
I
the way, there
think
was news today that Supreme Court is going to
Ha is
hear
going to look at it.
about
Ha,
electoral bonds. Do you think that's going to do any good?
if they cancel it, yes.
No, no, yeah. As
um,
in, no, I think there have been cases about things that, like, there are some things which are so big that the Supreme Court cannot close its eyes to it.
hmm.
But do you think the fact that the Supreme Court is going to look at something uh, augurs well for the nation in general? Or do you
Yes,
think it's going to be a
yes, it
rubber
does.
stamp? हाँ, नहीं हमने देख लिया इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
Aadhaar type basically is what you're
Yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Again, it's
Hard to
very
say.
difficult to predict, right? And
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
difficult to predict. It also depends on the judges, ना, like कौन judge है, क्या biases है, कैसे है, कहाँ से आया है, क्या background है, thousand other things depend
Hmm.
on that, right? It's a judgment. It can go either way, but it all depends on the judges sitting on the top. So we can't really predict what will happen, right? And when the case comes up, who is interested in it, etc.
Okay. So that was kind of like there is another question that just popped in. I think
Okay,
this is interesting. I'll take this and then we can end it.
sure.
The question is by Vikram Agarwal. It says, can Congress make a comeback as an opposition? If not, why and who could be the next opposition?
Can Congress make a comeback as an opposition? Oh, this can get into very tricky territory because I've already get hate for saying this.
Yeah, yeah. There is
Um,
nothing in this interview that you said is that is going to get you hit. This one question is the really tricky
like
one.
primed for it. It's like I was. um, so okay, so my belief right from the beginning, ever since I had like I got like political consciousness, I want to put it that way. Since I started understanding how parliament works, uh, I feel like the best way to run this country is to not have a majority government. I feel like decentralization is the way to run this country, right? It
Coalitions.
is coalitions, absolutely. There should be give and take.
Hmm.
Policy should not be passed in a month. Policy
Yeah.
should take years.
Or a
Please
day.
take years. Yeah. I was like, yeah, of course. But please take more years. Please do give and take. Do push and pull. Do like favor exchanging in the cost of, like whatever, like to bridge bana do or hum ha bol denge. I don't mind doing that. But they just be aware that when there is a coalition government, there are compromises that are made, and when there is a compromise made, it's always good for the people. And I've seen this happen. It's always
Hmm.
good for the people. So I feel like India is super diverse to be run by one party. um, it happened and it is still happening. It might happen for a while, but that doesn't make it right according to me. It I do feel like more representation from regional parties should come in. So the perfect opposition for me would be a collection of regional parties who are not an alliance, but they are still sizable enough to have their say in parliament. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
it's like a loose coalition, right? So
Got
if
it,
you
got
want to
it.
put it
But
that way.
do you not fear, like this is something I do fear, that if the last 10 years have trained the Indian voters' mind into thinking ki Strong leader is best leader. One
Hmm.
party, full Bahumat, that is the best thing. If right now an opposition comes around and says, we are going to work together, and then they look at all the diverse people in this Justice League and they say, nope, they're not going to work together. We might
Yeah,
as well go for this party. So
yeah,
the
yeah.
impression in the voters' mind of what is a good government, that definition itself may have changed. I don't want to
No,
say irrevocably.
I used to think this as well, but one thing that we have to keep in mind is that the voter is not stupid. The voter is very aware. The voter is taking decisions very logically. So like when you go to like a UP, you will always see people who will say seven things good about BJP, but they will also say three things that are bad about them,
Hmm.
right? They're that aware. So or they will be like, नहीं स्टेट में समाजवादी पार्टी को दे देंगे बट सेंटर में तो मोदी जी रहेंगे, right? They
Okay.
do that, right? And there is a very basic understanding of levels of government, because they
Okay.
are interacting with that government on a practically a daily basis, and their survival depends on it. So like paisa phek tamasha dekh is what happens in South Bombay. South Bombay people don't need to care about who to vote for, kya chal raha hai, whatever, because they throw money and things happen. But for a person in like a rural UP, that doesn't work. The politics is what shapes their life. So like a regional coalition just ensures that that little guy has a voice, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Yep, a national party will not do that.
Got it. Got it. So that is the maximum number of comments that I'm going to be able to take today, people.
Hmm.
Meghnad has
गाली
already been
कितनी
here
पड़ी
for.
विमो? मैंने देखा नहीं, मैंने चैट अच्छे से फॉलो नहीं किया। गाली
गाली नहीं
पड़ी
पड़ी
क्या?
एक्चुअली, गाली नहीं पड़ी। एंड दैट्स
अरे
बिकॉज़ मैंने लोगों की आदत बना दी है कि
हाँ
लाइक एक्सेप्ट फॉर दैट वन स्पैम दैट सेक्स स्पैम
हाँ,
कमेंट,
ओ
उसके अलावा कुछ
वो
आया
तो
नहीं है।
सेक्स बॉट, हाँ हाँ हाँ, ऑफ
हाँ,
कोर्स वो
बीच
तो
में कोई
आएगा
बोल
ही।
रहा था मेघनाथ डोंट गो टू पाकिस्तान, गो टू श्रीलंका, बट आई सपोज़ दैट वाज़ अ जोक अबाउट योर नेम।
Oh, I've been to Sri Lanka and it's wonderful, guys. Please
Yeah,
go
it
to
is.
Sri Lanka. It's
Not right now,
lovely.
I suppose.
Not right now.
We shouldn't laugh. People are going through a
No.
lot. So thank you, Meghnad, for doing this.
Hmm.
And for those who asked questions and they could not get to you, where can they reach you on social media?
Just DM me on Twitter.
What's
I
your handle?
can. Me, Meghnad.
Me,
Yes.
Meghnad. Yes, this is
Yes.
Meghnad's Twitter handle. Please send him a DM or tweet at him, and he will probably be happy to answer your questions if he's not busy gaming. Again, I did not ask you what games do you play again?
So right now, as I said, I'm playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is like Borderlands ka next part, which is fun.
Is this
I'm
a violent
obsessed
game
with.
or is this like a? It
It's an
sounds like a very
RPG. It's a
cute.
shooter. It's a shooter.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
just
Why is it
yeah.
called Tiny Tina's Wonderland?
It's basically a very fun concept where three very random characters are playing Dungeons and Dragons, and you are actually the character inside Dungeons and Dragons doing things. So
Oh, okay.
it's a bizarre fantasy sort of a thing. But the other one is Dyson Sphere Project, which
Which
I'm
sounds
playing.
interesting because I like Dyson spheres.
Yeah. So in that you are like this one tiny robot, Icarus, who has to build a factory which
Okay.
ultimately starts building Dyson spheres
Okay.
around the galaxy. So that is one. So it's a strategy game, long game. Satisfactory is something that I've been playing. I do play a lot of factory games. And yeah, what else am I playing? Dota, I keep playing every once in a while.
I play
Yeah,
card games, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, etc.
I have. Oh, so wait, I'll just because this is my favorite thing. God of War played
Okay.
like just recently. Cyberpunk 2077. I hope they fixed it. So yeah, that is what I've been
Is it
playing.
good?
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean initially there were a lot of bugs. I want to try
Bugs.
it
Yeah.
again. So
Okay.
I'm waiting. I think the patch just dropped, so I might resume playing it at some point.
What I don't like about it is that I hate it when a big gaming company or any company takes a proper noun and copyrights it as if it's a product, because cyberpunk is
Cyberpunk.
it's a science fiction genre. I write
Yeah, yeah,
science
yeah.
fiction, and now
Yeah.
when I search for my own stories I get a game page. That's what I hate about it.
Yeah.
So great, Meghna. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you
this.
so much.
Uh, this could not possibly have been easy after a hard day at work. What day is it? Oh, it's a
It's a
Wednesday. Yeah,
Wednesday. Yeah.
I
No,
suppose you
that's
came back
fine.
from.
It was fun. Always fun to have these conversations.
Great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, everyone in the chat. Please follow Meghnad on Twitter. And I will see you next on Saturday at 10 p.m. when we will be doing our usual thing. I'll be taking callers and everything. So I'll see you then. Until then, bye bye.
Bye bye.